afternoon everyone, welcome back to the channel. So, got a little recce going on today. So, just quickly, there's some seriously strong winds coming this weekend, and I decided to get up crazy early on a Saturday to come out and do a recce down at Southey Woods. Now, I've been down here a couple of times when I was doing my woodland photography project, but today we're down here to do some wildlife photography, and I've already got the camera out. Now, I had a feeling this would be quite a good place for wildlife photography, but the other good thing as well is there's this path all the way through. I believe this place is run by the Forestry Commission, and one of the advantages of that with the strong winds is it means I'm not walking in amongst a bunch of trees, which would probably yield better results for the photography. But yeah, as these winds pick up as the day goes on, I wanted to try and not get clonked by a branch falling or something, because they are due to reach over 40 mile an hour here, so safety first. Now, I was having a read last night on old Tinterweb, and I stumbled across something that I didn't know the A7R4 could do, and it's all with regards to metering mode. So we're going to have a chat about that in a bit. I'm going to keep having a slow walk through Southey Woods, and yeah, I mean, the prospects are looking quite, or sounding quite decent. I say it's only a recce, so if I come away with no decent results, so be it. But yeah, let's see if we can go find some more birds. So I've kind of done what I said I wouldn't do, and that's come into the trees. Now that wind does seem to be picking up, so I'm getting a little bit edgy. But yeah, as far as recce's go, this has been a really successful one. I don't know if you can hear all the birds and stuff, but yeah, it's been really, really good so far. Now, one of the things I'm liking about this is I've only been down here about an hour, but I've hardly even got into Southey Woods. And there's a lot of these tall trees that you can see behind me, but there's also some low-level scrub and smaller trees dotted around inside them, which means the birds are actually coming down and landing on them. So yeah, it's got a really, really good prospect for bird photography. So yeah, really, really pleased about that. So let's come back and talk about metering modes. Now, this all sort of came around after my last video where I managed to capture the red kites in flight, and I was a little bit disappointed, to be honest with you, when I got back home and looked at the images, and obviously everything was silhouetted due to the fact that I was shooting into the sun. So it was kind of expected, but it was still a little bit disappointing. Now, sorry, I've just seen a bird just land on a low-level branch, and I haven't got my camera in my hand. Might just be a robin. 2 seconds. Oh, he's gone. He's gone. That's fine. Let's come back and chat. So yeah, I was really disappointed with how silhouetted they are. Even though I kind of knew they would be, there was a lot of images that the kites were just black, and it was unrecoverable. Now, when I first started taking up sort of wildlife and bird photography, I was always, everything I read sort of talked about evaluative metering and stuff, and it is the one that I've always tended to lean to for all of my photography purposes. But I was like, There are so many options that you get on modern cameras now for your metering to get the accurate exposure. Is evaluative metering the right one? And I discovered something on a Sony that I've never found before. Now we'll come back and talk about that in a minute. Now that the birds are flying around now, I've gone quite static and not sort of slow walking through. They seem to be becoming a bit more active, so I'm going to get the camera and see if we get any more bird pictures. You can tell I'm tired today. Getting up early this morning. I wasn't even down here that early. I got down here for 9 o'clock this morning. I did swing by Craig's and get a bacon roll, to be honest with you. But my alarms went off quite early for my standards, and you can tell I'm tired because I'm not reacting as quickly to seeing the birds. I've seen a lot of bird activity down here, and the problem for me is that because I'm tired, I've missed at least 4 potentially good shots. So yeah, it's a good job it's a recce and nothing serious this morning, but it is giving me positive vibes. Just everywhere I seem to be going in Surrey Woods has got birds. Everywhere. It's very quiet down here, which is probably due to the fact that it's so windy. That wind is starting to pick up now, so yeah. Also seeing quite a few kites flying really low. One settled in a tree that was just obscured out of my view, and I couldn't get to it because the place is so boggy still. Everywhere is just so boggy. And it was a big, huge puddle that I couldn't even jump over or anything. So yeah, so let's come back and talk about metering then. Now, one thing I discovered with the Sony is, so let's go back to the different metering modes. Spot metering is what I want to talk about. Now, I've never been a fan of spot metering because it tends to sort of take that center weight. And I don't know if other cameras can do this, probably, but I've only ever discovered it in the Sony and not in my Canon ones previously, is that if you set it to single point or expanded single point, and then, sorry, slippery bit, then you go into one of the menu options. You can, rather than link the spot meter to center, you can actually link it to focus point, which means that basically wherever I put the focus point on the single focus point, which is perfect for my small birds and stuff, it's metering for that spot, which means it's actually metering for the birds. Now, that may result in blowing out some of the scene around it, which is fine by me because it's easily recoverable. Well, I say it's a lot more easily recoverable than having 2 darker shadows. As long as you don't clip those highlights, you're fine. So you can obviously use exposure compensation to try and prevent that. If you dial in 1/3, maybe 2/3 of a stop, focus point on the small bird, and boom, exposing for the bird, which means you can obviously recover all the rest of the other area as well, meaning you're not going to blow it out. Now, that's perfect for what I've been trying to do. Doesn't obviously work in wide for the focusing because obviously it's not singular point, but it does mean for small birds and stuff when tracking them. It is giving me an accurate reading for the actual bird that I'm focusing on, so happy days. Now, this is the first time I've ever used it, so hopefully once we get back to the computer and check out the images, I'll be pleased with what I've got. I've set it up now as a, in the menu, custom menu, so it's easily reachable as well. Now, as that wind's picking up, I'm not going to be down here much longer, so I'm just going to try walking a bit further and see if I manage to capture anything else, see what I can see and hear. As I say, it's a recce today, so let's go see what else we can see. Well, I'm calling it now. It is nearly 10 past 11. I've been down here for over a couple of hours now, and to be honest, the sky has got this thin veil of cloud over it, which means the light is really diminished. And if the sun does come out, we're getting to that harsh midday light, and there's no point. Plus the wind is actually getting stronger. It's going to continue getting stronger for the rest of the day. So it's going to make things a little bit more difficult. Now, as far as a recce's concerned for Southey Woods, I'm really, really pleased with the level of activity from the birds and stuff that I've seen. The weather has probably dictated quite a few people not coming down here. It is a Saturday. I'm sure it would be busier than this if the weather was better, if the winds were better. But realistically, the amount of birds that I've seen, as I say, I've just not reacted to because I'm so tired, is brilliant. And this is definitely going to be a hot spot for me to come down and do some more bird photography. Now, all of the pictures that I've taken today have been done with that spot metering. I've used expanded single point for the focus points. And obviously it's allowed me to move the exposure where the camera's exposing from. Meaning that everything I've exposed for today has been exposed on the birds. Now the pictures are just for documentary purposes. I'm not down here to take amazing shots because it is just a recce. But it's interesting to actually come out and do something like this and trial something new, a different setting that you've discovered with the camera. So hopefully they've come out all right, and I will kind of look at them in comparison to ones where I've used evaluative metering or multi-point. I can't remember what Sony actually call it, but yeah, rather than using evaluative metering, that is a mouthful for me when I'm tired, to gain the exposure, actually just pinpointing it is going to be quite interesting. It's going to be quite interesting. So it'd be interesting to see as well what you guys actually do for your metering when you're out doing bird photography and wildlife photography. Pop it in the comments and let's get a discussion going, because I think it's really, really interesting to see so many people have said about just using a wider metering mode to expose for the images to give an overall exposure for the whole image, rather than actually exposing for whatever you're photographing and then tweaking the rest of the image to suit. Very interesting. So yeah, obviously do pop some comments down there because I'd love to hear your feedback. Now, as I say, I'm going to take a walk back to the car. Really, really happy with Southey Woods. Really happy. It's well worth coming out, getting up early and coming out for a few hours to sort of find a new location that's local to me. And as I said before, one of the best things about wildlife photography is your ability to actually get out. Now, as I say, I mean, I've seen a muntjac deer, I've seen red kites, I've seen various small birds. So yeah, so far obviously we've got Burnham's Mere, we've got Southey Woods, we've got Archer's Wood. I've got loads of other areas as well that I've yet to explore. The one thing I'm a little bit miffed about actually is that I've seen, so I spoke a moment ago about a red kite nesting in the trees. There was one actually just nested in the area I'm in now. I was in a different, across a farmer's field watching this kite, and he came and nested in these trees. And I was like, that's just typical, just too far away or can't get a clean shot of. So it'll be interesting to see if you spend a few more hours down here and you get any more kite activity, see if I can actually get them nesting in the trees, but we'll see, we'll see. That'll be a different story for a different day. As I say, camera will stay out, and obviously if I capture any more images on the way back, I will pop them up at the end of the video. So if you've stuck around for this long, thank you very much. Obviously, thank you to everyone who watches my videos. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. We are trying to grow this. The more this channel grows, the more I can get out and do photography, whether it be wildlife, landscape, nature, macro, woodland, coastal, you name it. I just love being out with the camera, and it's the thanks to everyone that could potentially make that possible. As I say, if I can get this channel monetized, then yeah, I will give back tenfold. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Obviously, if you've liked the video, give us the old thumbs up, and if you haven't already, drop some subscribes from down the bottom. And yeah, this is my account. Take care, be safe everyone. Peace.